You know what's going to happen this year? Because there were a couple. Don't do that to me.
The NFL news, Dan. It never stops. Titans coach Ken Wisenhunt said today that Bishop Shanky is, quote, getting better, and the Titans are, quote, excited about him. Brown center Alex Mack has been diagnosed with a broken fibula and ankle and is done for the season. Mack hadn't missed a snap in his career. And finally, Dan, a Chinese man once lived for 55 years without an anus.
Ray Rice situation, because I think I've got a point to make here that people will find interesting.
The NFL news, Dan. It never stops. We'll get to your point in just a minute. The Newark Star Ledger's Jordan Rannon expects Victor Cruz to have, quote, a big game this week against the Cardinals.
What is that?
Big game Cruz. Jets coach Rex Ryan expects rookie tight end J.C. Amaro to be, quote, a major factor and, quote, probably pretty soon.
J. Samaro.
Whatever. And finally, Dan, in your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. But that? 2. It's a lot of saliva. 2, Dan.
What
pools.
kind of swimming pools? Like one of those backyard above ground swimming pools, or like 2 Olympic swimming pools?
Why do you always need all the details and metrics on
All right,
it?
we produce a lot of saliva is the larger point.
Over the course of a lifetime.
Right.
You could fill 2 swimming pools.
Right. Okay.
How about that Victor Cruz news?
Let me ask you guys this question. You guys see what?
The NFL news, Dan. It never, ever stops, thankfully. I just need to find my NFL news. NFL.com's Albert Breer reports a, quote, prerequisite for ESPN's John Gruden to return to coaching would be a, quote, franchise quarterback. Doing that again with Gruden. Donald Brown admitted that, quote, I need to make more guys miss. And finally, Dan, there is no word in the English language that rhymes with bulb.
Really?
Yep.
Orange as well, right?
Bulb.
Toilet's one of those, too.
Are there many?
Yeah, I had a whole wiki list. Let me print that out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Huh. What about that Donald Brown news?
He's got to make people miss?
Yep.
He really does. He's bad.
He is bad. He's got to make people miss. And this John Gruden stuff. I mean, every year we're going to do this with Gruden going back to the sidelines. Every year.
Well, the Raiders haven't been any good since he left.
Well, who's going to trade?
They've had 10 coaches in 20 years. They've had 10 coaches in 20 years.
I understand that, but someone's going to trade a franchise quarterback to get Gruden? Is that? Am I experiencing this news correctly?
I think you're reading the news incorrectly. He's saying that Albert Breer.
It's my news. I should
is
know
reporting. What are you talking about? Why would John Gruden be demanding a franchise quarterback be traded for him? Breer is reporting that in order to take a job, John Gruden would require that the team have a franchise quarterback. How did you now look, man?
That's what prerequisite means.
Toilet rhymes with oilet, and there is a hill in Wales called Blorange.
Oh, Blorange. Yeah, Orange, yeah.
No,
so,
that doesn't count.
So bulb.
I can't believe what just happened with Stugotz right now. Stugotz.
Are you going to get on me now today?
Well, but wait a minute. But you just thought that report was John Gruden demanding a franchise quarterback be traded for him so that he would go to that team.
That would be odd. Yeah, it's so odd. I mean, think about it. Right.
That doesn't make it.
Give yourself no chance to win.
Look, man, I had. Despite you were that thing always cuts me off.
The NFL news, Dan, it never, ever stops. As I just said, the Miami Herald reports everything is being considered as the league mulls its punishment of Tom Brady in the Patriots ball deflation scandal.
I mean, what is everything is being considered?
I mean, they could ship him off to another planet, potentially.
Yep. Everything's in play, Dan.
Everything is being
They could make him play for the Jets.
He could be cryogenically frozen.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. I believe that you've just proven that everything is not being considered because I don't believe that those are considerations.
You seen Demolition Man? It can happen.
Yep. Everything is being considered.
Demolition Man.
According to ESPN.com, the Texans expect Cecil Shorts to play both inside and outside.
What the hell kind of news is that? that?
big news.
What is that?
Yeah, it's big news.
What is
Versatile.
that?
Yeah, he's a versatile wide receiver, Dan. And finally, President Lyndon B. Johnson owned an amphibious car and would scare his guests by driving into a lake screaming about brake failure.
It's a great gag.
It really is.
That is a great gag for a president to be pulling.
That's so awesome.
A couple of things here that I need to mention from the last segment.
The NFL news, Dan, it never, ever stops. The Patriots did not use Darrelle Revis as a shadow cornerback in Week 1 against the Dolphins, instead leaving him at left corner for, quote, all but 1 or 2 snaps. Free agent running back Daniel Thomas worked out for the Patriots on Monday.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, he did. Big news, actually. And finally, Dan, rich people in China often hire body doubles to serve their prison sentences. Genius.
I mean, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the money.
I would totally do that.
Right.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I saw something funny the other day. Was it Family Guy?
The NFL news, Dan. It never stops. I just need to find my NFL news. I'll be there in just a second. Here it is. Jordan Cameron's shoulder was, quote, very limited in practice today and could go, quote, either way for Week 3.
Unbelievable.
Pro Football Talks.
I had a good story to tell.
Hey, stick with the update here. Pro Football Talks. Mike Florio considers it unlikely that Adrian Peterson will ever play for the Vikings again. And finally, Dan, Burger King in Japan released a black burger this week. It has black buns and black cheese. How about that? Would you eat black cheese? How about black buns?
What was your second item? What was your second?
Adrian Peterson might, big might here, might never play again for the Vikings.
Right, according to
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk.
Right.
Yep. And Jordan Cameron, just in case you missed that one, could go either way. Might play, might not play in Week 3. It's a coin toss right now.
Being in the playoffs, so let's stop that. Let's stop doing that. I know the Miami audience wants us to keep doing that, Tim, but we can't keep doing that, Tim. So go ahead, Bill. We can't do it on the front end of a segment, obviously.
First of all, you're an 18% tipper, so I would expect nothing less.
The NFL news, it never, ever stops. NFL draft insider Tony Pauline reports the Cowboys are, quote, very high on Wisconsin running back Melvin Gordon and are, quote, targeting him in round 1. Free agent Hakeem Nicks is visiting the Titans. Feeding bread to ducks actually causes many health problems for the Ducks.
That it? I was hoping you'd go the rest of that segment just giving us free agent news.
Well, we got more.
Oh, that's all right. What
How
do you
about
got?
that thing on the Ducks, though?
Yeah, bread is dangerous for ducks. I actually knew that. I grew up around ducks. You can't feed them too much.
You can't? Melvin Gordon, huh?
Night. I had a chance to. You brought it up.
The NFL news, it never stops. A lot of people listening, by the way. They really are. I'm surprised to learn that. But anyway, back to the NFL news. According to ESPN's Ed Werder, the Browns have shown zero interest so far in extending Brian Hoyer's contract. The Indy Star says Hakeem Nicks is frustrated with his role this season. And finally, Arnold Schwarzenegger never blinks in Terminator 2.
That can't be accurate.
That is accurate. It's a fact. It's a really good team.
It is a really good roster. It is championship-worthy good. But I would say to you, 2 points of caution. That's it. Oh, come on, man.
The NFL news never stops. We'll get back to the NBA, Dan. Speaking today, Jets offensive coordinator Marty Morningwig called Geno Smith's 5 turnovers, quote, an issue. The Miami Herald reports Dolphins coach Joe Philbin has apologized to the team for his handling of this week's quarterback situation. And finally, the Stanley Cup originally was only 7.5 inches high. About that.
It was an actual cup?
Yeah, like one that you wash out your mouth with in the bathroom.
I mean,
82-0.
honestly, Stugotz, you just want to get into the conversation, but you don't really. Like, I can see the fear on your face.
I got to be honest. I don't even want to get into the conversation.
Texture right in.
The NFL news never stops, Dan. This is a conversation I always want to have. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch believes second-year wide receiver Stedman Bailey, quote,
for the love
looks
of God,
poised for a breakout season.
You gotta be.
In Chicago, the Sun-Times is saying that Bears backup quarterback Jimmy Clausen, quote, seemingly hasn't had a bad day all training camp. Clausen has reportedly demonstrated, quote, some impressive zip on his passes.
That's great.
Yeah. And finally, guys, a day on Venus lasts longer than a year on Venus. How about that? What you got, Le Batard?
Really? That's interesting.
It's
By
true.
the way,
It's fact.
that Clausen, Jimmy Clausen, that's the pickle guy. Not a lot of people know that. We've all heard of Clausen pickles. It's Jimmy Clausen's family. I'm being serious. Look it up. Pickles Clausen. That's what they call him.
Well, here's the thing that I really don't have an answer for this, okay? I don't know what the answer is to what I'm about to ask you.
Dan, the NFL news never stops. Training camp's right around the corner. Titans rookie quarterback Zach Mettenberger was reportedly, quote, sucker punched at a Nashville bar over the weekend. Jaguars offensive coordinator Jed Fish confirmed Toby Gerhart will be the, quote, workhorse and play all 3 downs. And finally, Dan, many expensive perfumes actually contain whale poop. Back to you. How about that fish story? Gerhart, workhorse.